The following live broadcast is rated ESVPG, but there could be some R-rated shit. We just don't know. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another open forum show here at ESV. Tonight we're going to be talking about, well, whatever's on your mind, whatever's going on, good, bad, and different. We don't care. We're here to talk about something. You just need that ear, that shoulder, that voice to come out. So that's what we're here for. So enjoy that. We'll talk about some current events. We don't have anybody giving us any topics because that's what we do. Otherwise, just sit back and have fun. You guys all ready to do this?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we got one person. Okay, now we're doing better. All right.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another Ear, Shoulder, Voice open forum where we're here for you. It's your show, it's your topic, it's what you want to talk about. If it's not, we'll make it about us. We don't care. But other than that, it's just a free-for-all, go at it, nothing wrong, no judgments, no wrong opinions. That's what we're here for. And don't forget, while you're here, to like, subscribe, follow with us on Meta, LinkedIn, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. We're on there. Reach out to us anytime you want and live chat during the panel. Engage us, and we will respond to you live with anything you want to talk about. No worries. And if you want, you can even join us by going to earshouldervoice.com/join directly on the panel live with us. Speaking of that wonderful panel, let's bring them in. Our first panelist tonight, please welcome back the wonderful Nikki. How you doing? Oh, Nikki, we can't hear you. You are muted.
Okay.
All right,
better?
There we go. We're better. Yep, we hear you now. How you doing, Nikki?
I'm good, Keith. How are you?
Good to have you back here. I like the hair thing you got going on there.
My little mom do.
I know. I know I've seen that before.
Yeah, that says it's been a busy weekend.
I can understand that. Why has it been a busy weekend for you? What's going on?
Life. I'm a taxi cab. I'm a chef. I'm a maid. I'm a party planner. I wear many hats.
Mom of many hats, multi-talented. But you know what? That's what a mom's got to do.
I know.
That's it. It never ends.
I wouldn't trade it for the world.
They say it ends when they're 18, but you know that ain't true either. So
not true. That's a lie.
Definitely not. All right, we're gonna bring our next panelist tonight. Please welcome back Elena. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm here. I'm happy. I'm breathing.
Girl, that
couldn't
hair
be better.
Looks fire.
Isn't
Thank
it?
you.
It's like everybody's got new hair. It's interesting. I like it. We all changed up. It's a very special show. You know, we're not ourselves. So what's been going on with you, Elena?
Not much. Pretty uneventful weekend so far.
So Nikki's busy as can be, and you ain't got shit to do. Is that it?
No. And Brandon's out of town on a work trip, so I'm just bored.
How do you fulfill that boredom?
Doing these shows.
All right. Well, that's why we're here tonight, because I know it's been hard to get people sometimes, so we had to cancel a few. But we're still going to get all those shows in, so don't worry about that. Let's bring in our next panelist. Welcome back the King. What's going on, Bill?
I don't have any new hair.
No, you just got a hat. It's covered up. We don't know anyway.
Say, yeah.
Go
Tigers!
I was telling you, the hair is actually disappearing. So yeah.
Yeah, I learned that when I cut my hair. I'm like, damn, there is not a lot left up there. I was like, it looks fine. Fortunately, I'm tall, so everybody kind of looks either straight or upwards at me, so they can't tell. But when my head goes down, it starts to show up.
That was when I really started losing my hair. That was the thing, is no one could tell. Except for the guys who were like 6.5, 6'7", and they were taller than me. They get up behind me and go, "You got a bald spot, man."
Right. Well, I do, because those that don't know, one of the things I do at one of my bars, I actually do strip when it's your birthday. And one of the parts of the strips is I lean back like that. And like I'm realizing watching videos people are taking, when I do that, you can just see the reflections. It's crazy.
I'm so short. The only thing I'm going to be able to tell you that's bald is probably your balls. But I mean, for most guys.
What,
how do you know his balls?
Anybody above 4 foot tall.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, we got We've got a brand new person joining us for his first time ever on the show. Please welcome Scott. Scott, how's it going?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Oh, look at Scott. Scott's right here. He's all ready. He doesn't have any issues or anything. I was worried you might, but you've got it all going.
Pay $2,000 for a laptop. It better work.
I hope so. Walmart's been my friend.
It does more than gaming.
They have to nowadays.
You guys talking about bald. I mean, I went.
I would say you changed your hair, but no, what hair? I mean, you went.
There's no hair.
It's a
He's got the beard. He's got the beard.
There's a Walmart at 26 and Romeo Plank here. They had a camera on one end and the screen on the other. As soon as I walked in, I saw a little bald spot in the top right here, and I was like, yeah. I went home and shaved it off, and then
you got to just embrace it.
Yep. There's not too many taller than me, so no one told me.
That's my theory. That's what I was going with, and it turns out, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of tall people now. I mean, you're one of them. You're tall out there. Anthony has been on the show. He's tall and everything, so they can see. But I used to like being tall because I could hide any balding spots. You just went the pussy route out. You're like, fuck it. I'm just going to shave it all.
I always said if I start going,
that's embracing it.
So,
yes.
so both my brothers got the beautiful hair. I got stuck with my grandparents. Both grandfathers were bald, and my dad has good hair. I knew it was going to hit me.
It usually either it skips a generation. Usually,
no, it skipped my brothers. It went straight to me.
I regret mine because my parents used to always tell my brother because he wore hats all the time. It's like, you wear the hat, you're going to go bald. So I would make fun of him forever. My brother's still got almost all his fucking hair.
Gonna say,
and he's older than me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and now it's hitting me. I know, but I made fun of him. At least he could have gone bald before me. He's 6 years older than I am. And he's still got it all. And he shaves his head, but he doesn't have to. It drives me crazy on there. Don't forget, everybody out there, this is our open forum, so feel free to talk about anything you want to talk about in the comments. We will chat about anything. We don't care. It can be disgusting and gross, or it could be happy and, free. We don't care. We're about that. So, anything anybody wants to really bring up right now before we go into a few current events, probably, because that's what we do. Anything on anybody's mind? Scott, I know. I see that face, Scott. You're on this show. There's something you wanted to discuss.
He looks a little...
Could you ask me? Because you asked me to be on the show. And
you asked to be on the show.
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, well, here you are now.
I don't know what we were talking about, but...
I just had a moment, like a mom moment, like when my sons were being really sneaky, ready to do something really, really bad. Scott had that look on his face.
I always
gotta get you.
I'm always up to something.
Uh-oh.
Oh my gosh. So let's bring up what everybody's been talking about really quick. The slap heard across the Oscars. So I don't know. I don't think it was a setup to that point. I think if it was a setup, Will Smith had to know that this would be a huge negative impact on his career.
Chris Rock's not that good of an actor.
That's why he was still given an award.
Chris Rock
he was still got a standing ovation from the crowd. It didn't impact him. They're not going to take his award from him.
No, they're not. Yes. They're not. But what precedence does that set?
Well,
letting that go. I mean, you can't. A comedian cannot make fun of something like that.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying that I'm for or against what Chris Rock said. I didn't really see the offense in it. He was saying, I mean, I think she looks hot as hell with no hair. She could have played part 2 of G.I. Jane. But there was an ulterior motive to that end scene. There was something else came from it, and
I think I spelled that wrong. Oh well.
So did any of you look at her while she was sitting there?
She laughed.
Yeah,
she laughed her ass off.
Not just that, but if you looked at her, if you could see the angles and stuff like that. So when the pictures came up, when she, had the alopecia, she had like just a line across the top of her head where her hair was gone. Mm-hmm. While she was sitting there, she had all her hair. It was all there. Now, it was very short, don't get me wrong. But all her hair was there was no line in it.
Like she had a bald cap on the front or something?
I don't think so. Like I said, I'm just saying that all her hair is there and stuff. And alopecia, most of the people who have it severely have spotty spots, where their hair is not growing.
Yeah.
Stuff. And a lot of the people grow their hair really long and comb it over to cover up the spots whenever they don't feel bad about
Not always.
when they feel bad about it and stuff. So
Yeah.
But it's a natural occurring thing. There could be a lot worse things out there. I feel bad for anybody having to go through it. I mean, we're literally talking about hair loss already. At least the guys here are, the women. But it's a natural thing to go through. And there's a lot of people in Hollywood that just covered up with a wig. And if you're going to broadcast it openly and you're going to the Oscars where the guy has roasted you before, Chris Rock roasted her before at the Oscars, and that's your current topic, it's going to be brought up. And she didn't laugh at first. Will Smith laughed at the initial joke, and she had the look of "fuck you." And then they cut away, and you know that she gave him that look like, "You gonna do something about this motherfucker?" And that's what went up there.
I think it would have been a lot different if he, before he said the joke, would have been like, Jaden's looking beautiful tonight, and then said the joke. And then I feel like it would have been fine.
More tastefully done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's the Oscars and it's Chris Rock.
But here's the thing,
the whole way he got smacked and Chris Rock just kind of leaned. It just looked set up.
It looks like
but he's not that good of an actor.
No, it
That's
looks
the
like
point. That's
Chris
why
Rock,
I say it was set up.
Chris Rock flinched.
Fake.
Chris Rock flinched before you heard the smack. That he bounced back.
When you see a hand
Well, you could see the hand coming at you. I mean, I don't think it was a setup. I do think that it might have been something they knew there was going to be. I have a hard time believing it is a setup because of the impact it has. I mean,
think,
literally, if somebody said I wanted to do this, if I was Will Smith in this career, I want you to go up live on stage during the Oscars, slap Chris Rock for a joke at your wife and pretend it's real. I know that would hurt my career.
Right.
They've already stopped his next movie.
Yeah, but if I'm just being honest, I think Will Smith, I mean, I have this very strong opinion. I may be the odd man out in this panel, but Will Smith is part of all the crookedness of Hollywood, all the dirtiness, whether you want to believe it or not. I choose to. I believe that this evilness really does truly exist. And as far as I'm concerned, that fact alone, his career will eventually be over. Eventually, all this stupidity that's happening at our White House with this fucking retarded president.
Okay, we gotta be careful. I want to steer away from insulting actual particulars.
Why do you think Will Smith is
we can still talk about it, just don't go
Will Smith
direct
is
insulting to anybody. Any of the politics.
Do what, Bill?
Why do you think Will Smith is evil?
Because he's part of the group that is evil, whether he's directly associated, whether he's participated, he knows of things that have happened in the industry. I wouldn't be surprised if his own children were not, in a sense, sold out for his own fame. There's a lot of things that happen in Hollywood that, everybody doesn't necessarily look at.
We're going to go into, obviously, our conspiracy theory show.
That comes into play because every rapper that's into movies now and stuff like that, Will Smith, Ice-T, anyone that's into movies now, right, because they were gangster rappers or rappers and stuff like that, they're all called sellouts.
Yeah.
By the other guys.
Yeah. Sellout, right? They sold their souls to the devil.
Well, when you're Ice Cube and you're doing, gangster rap and stuff like that, and all of a sudden you become a movie star and you forget about your roots and whatever and what you were doing, they call you a sellout.
Yeah, you sold your soul to the devil.
Yeah, but who wouldn't do it if they had the opportunity?
No.
Seriously, if you had the opportunity to be famous.
If you knew that it would lead to imminent death, you would not live. You may get the fame, you may get the fortune, you may for some time have the house, the cars, the whatever, on camera you look amazing, but at some point it's going to be snatched because you sold your soul to the devil. When you sell your soul to the devil, it comes with consequences. Well, eventually you pay for it.
Being a sellout from being a gangster rapper to Hollywood is not selling your soul to the devil. It's just leaving what you were being and being a badass, and all of a sudden you're a guy fucking making movies just so you can grab the money.
I mean, call it how you want to call it. I call it how I do.
Elena, you've been a little quiet here. You got anything to add for that?
I mean, I don't believe in the devil, so I can't really like
I mean,
personally.
I have. What about you, Scott? You got anything to add before I got a question for Nikki afterwards?
No, I mean,
There's nothing. You can't say anything wrong on this show.
No, I know.
Just so you
I
know,
don't
because I
have
know you're
nothing-
new.
It's
The only thing we steer from is picking a certain political side and directly attacking them. You know, that's I don't care which side it is. I don't allow it for Trump, and I don't want to allow it for Biden either. It's just we try to steer that. Other than that, you can talk about anything and say anything that's on your mind.
no. I don't know. I like Will Smith. I've always liked him as an actor. I've never. I hate the way he raised his kids, but you know, I mean, that's the only downfall on his part. I mean, he's just doing what he knows. He's
Smacking Chris Rock. It's what he knows.
big.
I mean,
And-
Chris Rock has been at it for years, so I'm not mad about it.
I mean, he has, but I mean, in public like that on that, what is that saying for comedians whose job it is to poke fun at stuff and do roast? I'm not saying it was a good joke.
Will Smith ain't as funny as they are.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's. And actually, you know what? I hate to say it, it was kind of a funny joke. I mean, it may have been misappropriate, but it was a funny joke. Going G.I. Jane for the Oscars for the kind of jokes they told. What's her name? Regina Hall's up there, and she said so many things about them pretty much having orgies and being a part of it, and it was fine. But then the Chris Rock says that, oh no, motherfucker, that's because Will Smith ain't gonna slap Regina Hall. That'd be a whole new can of whoop ass
Yeah.
that they would open up. I do have a question for Nikki, and it's something you said that's always bothered me with some of the conspiracy aspects that people bring up, like they're all evil. And how does one know these things?
I mean, research.
But do you see research Will Smith is evil?
I mean, yeah, because he's guilty by
I
association.
can Google
He's
it.
guilty by association.
But you said he's evil because he knows all the stuff going on. He knows the inside stuff. He knows what's
Okay.
happening, right?
Okay, so I'm gonna give you guys a for instance. Take it for how you want to. If you were in a room full of celebrities and young children, say 10 and younger, were brought into the room for sexual acts to be performed with them and upon them, and if you just stood there and watched, would you be just as guilty of the act? Or are you innocent and okay because you didn't participate?
You were not as guilty as the act, but you're definitely not innocent in any way. There's a big center there that isn't being filled. You can know about something when your career and I don't approve of anything that you're saying as far as it goes messing with kids. But back then, there were so many secrets that Hollywood was dealing with that was your life and career. And we know that that's true because a lot of it has come out. But you're in a place that your career, your life, everything is at stake, and they use that against these people. That doesn't mean necessarily
Yeah, but
that they're all
still,
part of this big underground conspiracy. And the
Could you
fact that
consciously
you know
not
all
speak
this
up?
makes me think you're a part of it.
Really?
I was like, just kidding. I was like,
No, that would be disgusting.
no, not that part, the conspiracy part. No, not that you're part of that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that at all. I meant the conspiracy.
Call it what you want. I can actually attest to a real life situation in my life. I don't really want to go into details because it's not
It's
my
okay.
story. I think we've kind of touched base with it about it before. Let's just say I know about the sex trafficking firsthand. Like,
Well, there's never been a doubt that sex trafficking exists.
okay, but I also am fully aware because of my research, and I'm talking not just a day or I clicked on Google and it told me, so I'm talking close to 10 years of research through other programs who are helping these children and women who have been involved. And I can tell you, the lines that get crossed and the lines that get pointed to and directly in contact with a lot of people that we all have looked up to in Hollywood, you know, from the biggest top A-list celebrity to presidents to politicians to police officers to, I mean, it goes on
I
and
know.
on.
Well, yeah, you got like Kid Rock and Ted Nugent and Kanye West and all of them. I get that 100%. They were all part of those groups, weren't they?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know about them. Kanye West he's a
Because they
a
were all on the
weird
right
character.
side.
No, Kanye West
Right
is
is
a
in right,
pretty
left,
loony.
not correct side.
Okay, okay. I thought we weren't taking sides though.
No, but I'm saying when a lot of the conspiracies you're bringing up are conspiracies that do attack the left side. You can still take a side, you just can't trash another side.
How am I? I'm not attacking a left.
Well-
I'm just saying perverts are disgusting, and
Well,
if
what
you're part
I'm
of the ring
arguing-
of perverts, you're disgusting. If
But-
you touch little children to get off, that's pretty disgusting.
I
And
would
if
agree
you
with
stand
that.
there and watch it happen, that's pretty fucking disgusting. And you're disgusting for watching it happen and not.
But
speaking
you're
up.
claiming that all these celebrities are a part of this.
I mean, there's photographs.
Well-
There's photographs of these people watching on. as
So you've seen these
things
photographs?
Yes.
And you
I
haven't
can
reposted
send
them for proof.
I posted them. Why do you think I lost like so many social media accounts? I've been like deleted and voided so many times because of people like you who say, "Oh, you're just a conspiracy theorist."
No. Conspiracy theorists, there can be right conspiracies. There are right things out there that you could be absolutely correct on. That's not the argument. The argument that I was making personally while I was saying it is everything you're saying is what has been said about the left side of government and left-leaning actors and celebrities and stuff like that. And I gave you 3 right, and your instant response was, well, I don't know about those 3.
I mean,
They're fine.
I mean, I don't have pictures directly for Kid Rock or Ted Nugent. Personally, my personal, what I've seen of Ted Nugent, I don't believe he speaks very out against pedophiles and pedophilia.
That doesn't
But
make
that
you
doesn't
okay.
mean- well, that doesn't mean that they weren't somehow directly at a party where something happened. I don't know. I just know the what I've seen, the documentation I've seen, points in there. It's not just political people. It's not just Hollywood.
No.
I mean, it goes to like police officers.
The
in our
only reason I was
community.
bringing it up is because they are sided conspiracies.
Sure. Yeah.
You know,
sure.
that's why I was actually bringing it
No,
up.
I don't take a side other than I speak out that I'm not in favor of one particular person in our politics, but I very passionately speak out against the perverts who think it's okay to touch children or, you know, abuse women and men too. Men have been, you know, part of this.
Yeah.
This.
I do agree, but I
pandemic.
think I do agree, but I think one of the problems that people have when doing this, like yourselves, is you may be speaking about against them because you've seen pictures of some, but you're grouping a lot that I'm sure you haven't seen pictures of because there's a ton of people that are listed in these conspiracies that I'm sure you didn't see them all. You just heard there's a connection, and
Yeah, I
if
have
put
a
in
question.
public, yeah, go ahead, Bill.
Okay, so going back to the Will Smith part of this, right? I mean, I may have missed something. So I know that they posted up and say that he has an open relationship with his wife,
Yes.
all right? But I'm going with what Nikki was saying. So did Will Smith have sex with his wife or sex with someone else in front of his kids or something? Is that why this is coming up? Because I don't understand how
No,
this went into this direction.
no, there was just okay. So Bill, within their community, their parties consist of. I mean, when they party, they're not just like drinking a natural ice and smoking a doobie. Like they go to the hardcore, you know, stuff, and they go to where their money will buy them, you know, whatever it takes to get them off. And these parties consist of children being brought, whether they're bought from the U.S. or they're bought from Russia or they're brought
Will
from.
Smith does this?
I mean, they all participate in these parties. I don't know if
Will
he
Smith
is.
does this? That's what
I
I'm
mean,
asking.
he's participated in the parties. Yes, he's been there. He's seen what they're doing to these children. I would have no doubt that his own children have been there.
So are you
Okay.
saying that people with open relationships are pedophiles?
No,
Okay.
no. I'm saying people who seek out children for sexual pleasure and seek out like, to abuse people.
You're accusing a lot of people of doing exactly what you're saying by grouping them together, though. And though you may have seen proof of one or two, I am
it's more
sure.
than one or two. More
No,
than one
I'm
or two.
okay, but still not the amount in this group that is part of this conspiracy that everybody says, because you constantly are saying everybody in Hollywood or everybody like that. And you're grouping people who probably stand very strongly against this, and this is where conspiracy theories, to me, get blown out of proportion. Because we stop thinking that it's a few individuals in Hollywood, and a few can be many, don't get me wrong, in Hollywood, and we blame everybody that has certain ideals that go with them for doing everything they do wrong. Like if you're going left to right, if you're saying if you support Hillary, you supported eating babies. You know, and if you
So I
supported Trump, you
retract
supported
my
racism.
everybody.
And I'm
I'll
not saying he
retract
is,
my
I'm saying those
everybody.
are the theories. Those are the
Fine.
theories.
I will fairly retract my everybody and say many people in Hollywood participate in these. It's like rituals.
I agree, but it's not new. It
No,
really,
but it's nonetheless
it
okay.
shouldn't be done. It shouldn't be done. It's not okay. But this is not something new popping up, and I think we have more celebrities that actually speak against this stuff and would do the right thing in
Yeah,
this
and
world than we did back then.
You know who was one who did speak up, who actually started a foundation, and I'm probably about to get a lot of heat on this one, but Ashton Kutcher started a foundation for this exact topic, though he actively participated in sodomizing a young boy. He preferred little boys.
Okay, well that's not good, and I don't like Ashton for that. But I cannot follow anything that I do not see proof of in any way when it comes
I
to
mean,
that.
I can
That's
send
right.
you
But
proof.
I really don't want to
Some of it's
see
hard
that.
to see.
I
Some of
was
it's
like,
really hard to see. I do
most
have
most
tons.
of the pictures are very hard to see. Scott, you're awfully quiet over there. What's your thoughts?
The whole
You can agree and
conspiracy
disagree with
theory,
anybody you
but
want on this
He
panel.
thinks I'm crazy right now.
He's
Scott's
sitting there
like,
going,
I came on for
"I'm
this."
good."
It's
I
okay.
can't do it. I mean, a good conspiracy theorist.
So what do you-
I don't understand it. I don't understand it. It was one guy on the computer. He put something up, and it went to 1,000 different people, and they went 1,000 different ways, and now it's on the internet. and
Man,
that's
I wish
how
that's
everyone
what
gets
it
their
was, but I've
information.
seen video.
That's the
and
way I look at it. I mean, it's just like, everyone's like the government's watching you, or I can't do this. You're going to get chip. You're holding your chip. Your chip's in
Yeah.
your hand.
They know
Hugging
everything.
a shot with a chip in it.
You store all your data on that.
Store
They
it.
know everything.
I mean,
But I don't use
you-
banks.
I heard a
Right.
theory lately. Okay, and
Uh-huh.
I just
This is going to be a good show when it's a full topic.
I stopped and I was like, I never thought of it. So what's his name? Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Tesla. Can he control and stop all the cars that he's selling right now? Can he just shut them off?
I've thought about that.
Probably.
You know what?
That
I'm
Yes,
thinking
he
my
probably
gasoline,
can.
I'm good. I'll figure out how to get my.
I'd say yes.
corn.
They can
I'm not-
communicate. Tesla cars can communicate amongst themselves. They can order their own parts off of Apple, whatever.
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised.
to say that Elon Musk can do that, I'm sure he absolutely can. They're all electric cars and stuff like that. They're all uplinked. They've got it. But you know what? So can and or Samsung. So can Sprint or Verizon or anybody like that with your phones. Anything that's connected to Wi-Fi, if any company wanted to, absolutely they could shut you off. But you got to think about the probability of something like happening. We get so focused on, oh, what if they did or they can, we don't realize everybody can. Everything we use that can happen that is somehow connected in some way, even if it's our radio, your video game systems, your PlayStation 5 and 4 are all connected. They can brick those like that if they want to.
Yeah.
Big
It's all-
Brother is watching.
Right. That's part of the price you pay to live in the connected world we now live in.
Yep.
But there's so many benefits to it. We're so focused on the negative aspects of living in this connected world, we fail to see what it's done for us. I mean, look at this show right here. And the problem people come across, especially when talking about theories and stuff like that and what's going on, is they'll come across a show like this, they'll hear Nikki talking. They'll hear just the clip of Nikki talking, say, I have photographs, I've seen video. And they will go to their friends and say, I have a friend who saw photographs and saw videos because they saw it on this show. And then they will tell somebody else, and then it'll be, I saw him personally again to somebody down the road, and I'm not saying that's you, Nikki, but that's what happens, and that's how that spreads. Because somebody hears it, like Scott said, one person puts something on there and everybody suddenly just believes it. And it was nobody. It was one person. Or they doctor a photograph. I'm not saying yours are fake, Nikki. I haven't seen them. I'm not about to analyze them. if I did. But you can easily doctor anything. For crying out loud, they can de-age everybody they want to in film. They can randomly shoot full films without people and then insert them afterwards. They did the whole thing. I think Death on the Nile was one that did that with one of the actresses. Throughout the entire movie, she wasn't even barely on set or anything. They can do anything now. It's part of our world. We're in a technological amazing advancement and a position in society where almost anything seems possible. But because it's possible doesn't mean it's happening. Because it's possible, yes, they could spy on our phones, doesn't mean there's somebody in a room watching us jerk off to porn. It's not happening like that. There might be, but more power to them. Most of us can, seriously, we can upload our own personal porn onto freaking Pornhub or charge people by going to OnlyFans or whatever it happens to be. Like, we want that as much, but if we're benefiting from it, it's okay. But too many people want to focus on the negatives. Oh, someone else could see me. If they're paying me, it's cool. But not otherwise.
And it is. They do focus on the negatives because it was so hilarious. So the young lady that was Ukrainian volleyball player, I don't know what her name was, but she was all over social media because of the fact that she was flirting with the line judge, I guess, whatever he is, that sits up there in the tower during volleyball. And she was laughing at him and smiling at him and stuff and did the thing under her shirt, make her heart pump and stuff. And that was everywhere. And then all of a sudden, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. And boom, she's gone, and it's all Will Smith and Chris Rock.
Yeah, and it's always, what can we find wrong? Elena, I know that you've got a lot of things in your head right now that you're just not saying, and I really want you to say something.
I really don't, because I don't know a whole lot about the conspiracy theories that we're talking about. So I don't really have an opinion because I don't know anything about it.
But surely you've heard people talk about them.
A little bit, but I haven't looked into it myself, so I can't.
Well, that's fair, and that I do respect that 100%, because if you don't know everything,
a very smart girl.
Yeah, maybe it's a good idea not to say something about it, because the same thing, you might be spreading false information as well that can damage or hurt other people. And Scott,
I would say she's a smart girl because she wasn't looking into it.
I agree with her. I mean,
you agree with Nikki?
I don't understand it, so I don't talk about it.
Oh, you agree with Elena? I don't understand. I didn't talk about it.
Elena, yeah.
Okay, that's fair. So either way,
I don't.
And so we're not 100%, and I'm not disagreeing with Nikki. Like I said, that any of this stuff does possibly exist.
I mean,
go ahead.
The first conspiracy theory I ever heard was the whole Bush and the Twin Towers.
Okay, yeah.
That was the very first time, and it was just it just don't add up. I've heard so many different angles from it, and it's just every angle is different. Every time I heard it, someone had a different way of saying it. Nothing matched, nothing, it was, that's why I say it was one guy that spread it to 1,000 different people, and those people put it in their own way and then spread it, and
it's because what we need to do is we need to be logical. We need to follow stories to a conclusion, not follow a conclusion to create stories. If you just follow the way things happen, it does make sense. When you take the conclusion and you go back and try to fill out how it happened, you can create any scenario. Any scenario you want to. And you can make people at fault, and you can make people like Scott go, oh, that doesn't add up. That doesn't make sense. Or Nikki, I know that's going to be the case. I've seen this firsthand without it, because you've already got a preconceived notion in your head because somebody already gave you the conclusion. So now everything you're seeing, you're using to add up to that conclusion instead of using the math for the math problem to add up to the answer.
It's called confirmation bias.
I thought my explanation was better, but you want to shorten it and make me a dummy? Fine.
you gotta figure that the grocery store checkout papers, like the National Enquirer, made billions of dollars off conspiracy theories and wrong stuff and right stuff and everything that they reported forever and a day. And you've got fucking little Harvey with TMZ. He's basically doing the same thing. He does try to find the truth, But his TMZ show, his buses, his tours, and everything he's got going on, and everything on the internet and stuff like that, he's making a ton of money reporting on it, whether it's right or wrong.
Yeah. Well, that's what those papers did too. And you're right, and they still do. The only difference is it's now in our hands. And you know what the thing with the Inquirer and the Sun is we bought the shit out of those papers. But I think, well, that's a lot about conspiracies. We're going to have a whole show related to that coming up. We'll hit a lot more than just governmental conspiracy or left, right wing or baby eating or whatever conspiracies people want to talk about. We'll cover a lot more besides that too on our conspiracy show, which will be coming up. We've got 3 topics coming up at random. So let's try to shift a little bit from the conspiracies and what else is on people's mind? What else has been happening lately that you think has been worthy of being talked about right now? Or anybody in the chat, if you got anything you want to talk about too, let us know. Anything? Nobody has anything?
The favorite college
are they sticking
basketball
with
men's team
so
just got
Facebook
knocked out?
actually changed it to Meta? Because I heard you call it.
Yes, yes, it is.
So that's officially Meta.
It's kind of in process right now. I've already rebranded everything on the show to reflect Meta.
I didn't.
More than Facebook.
I heard it like a long time ago, and I've seen
Yeah.
the logo, but
It is.
running around like
They
this.
are still Meta. Not
Meta today.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get used to saying Meta on there, just because that is the change of branding. But not everything is. I think it's a stupid name personally, but whatever. Facebook, do your thing. Apparently Zuckerberg knows what he's doing, right? Right, Nikki? Zuckerberg knows. I agree with some of that stuff about Zuckerberg. So
See her face.
You guys, I'll take the hit and be the laughing stock.
No.
Oh,
I just said I agree with some of the stuff about Zuckerberg. I was agreeing with that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Zuckerberg's a weirdo.
See, I was like, that was agreement on that. What are you looking for there?
Sorry,
Elena?
I'm putting my socks. Oh,
I was looking at my
putting
dogs,
socks on my feet.
No.
making sure they're not getting into anything.
I don't even know where mine is.
So anybody do anything good for April Fools? Is anybody like the king of pranks?
No,
or
but
queen
I
of
would
pranks?
love to hear your story.
My story.
I didn't hear the whole thing. I was drinking and.
What story? I was like, I didn't hear that. I was drinking.
Let
That's
me hear
usually
your
how
story.
it goes. That's
Go
usually how it
ahead.
goes.
Go ahead. Tell us
No, I
your
wasn't going to tell mine. I just was curious if anybody did
No,
anything
you
with
brought
anybody
it up.
enjoyed
No
it.
one else did one apparently.
Right, because I'm the host.
Okay.
I was like, I got to come up with something on the fly.
You
I
did.
tried to give all 4 of you an option to bring something up.
I want to hear your April Fool's
It
joke.
just made me laugh because Scott said I was drinking something I couldn't hear you. So drinking something into your mouth affects your hearing?
When it was told to me, I was.
Oh, so somebody already said what I did. Okay.
Yep. And that's,
I didn't know you knew anything about that. That was just to the kids. But no, that was nothing big. I had one of my friends. I have one of my friends lives with me and his 2 kids as well. And well, my friend does enjoy drinking and bringing home random girls sometimes, and his kids always get annoyed. So one of my good friends, I had her come over and act like some cracked out, drugged up, alcoholic booze hound that just hated kids and everything like that, and acted like it was his new girlfriend and stuff in front of the kids. Scared the hell out of the kids.
You're mean.
It was so worth it. Oh, she played the part great though.
And you picked the right person for it.
I know I did. I know. And she played the part
Play
great.
crazy.
I just told her the basics. She came over with garbage bags ready to move in. She had a vodka bottle full of water. She was like,
Oh my god, those poor kids were like shit their pants.
Oh my God. Hey, Keith.
one of the girls came up and she's like,
fiance, didn't you?
no, this one was acting.
Oh.
The girl, my niece, she's just like, is that vodka? I went and grabbed it. Oh my fucking god, it's vodka. Like, because I act like I never knew her either, and my friend just had to move in, said she could come stay with that, and it was a big fight. And those kids, I mean, I tried everything. I was talking about, I love you, you guys okay? Because what really pissed them off was it was my idea. Usually their dad plays a joke, but I was like, no, I got you on this one. This is mine. I gotta get
This
this.
is the
Were they
first April
pissed? Were
Fool's
they
I
mad
didn't
at
do
you?
a joke.
Huh?
Were they mad at you?
Oh my god, they wouldn't talk, they wouldn't come down, they wouldn't respond until I said, you want ice cream? I was like, they finally got forgiven. I was like, that was it. I had to take them for ice cream. But yeah, I haven't done one in a long time. I haven't done much April Fools in a long time.
I did
yeah,
one.
I didn't do no pranking.
I did one years ago, and it was like a really, in my head, it was awesome. I mean, it was a great prank. My sister loaned me her car. I found a picture of her car wrecked. Right, I dropped off the in-law uh, at his sister's house, and I'm thinking to myself, like, all right, they're all older people. This was maybe 8 years ago, 7 years ago, and they weren't on Facebook yet, you know. So I post this picture to my sister, like, hey sis, I just got in an accident. Well, I just left the house where all the in-laws and all the older, family members were with all their kids. So they're thinking I just got in an accident with all the kids in there, and this car is a cube. Oh, I got heat for that one.
I screwed my bar over one year. I didn't mean to because I was out working, and I mean the bar. Not to toot anything, but I mean the bar is the bar because of me and what I brought in there. And so it's towards the end of the night, and it just turned April Fool's, like 12 o'clock, and I announced my retirement. I said, "This is my last show. I am going to be gone," and nobody. They're just like devastated. Stuff. So I ran with it until we closed at about 2. And then at 2 o'clock when it closed, I said, by the way, April Fools, I'm not retiring. Well, it pissed a lot of people off, but what I failed to realize was most people left before I said that. And they blasted everywhere that I was done, and the business died, and people stopped coming and everything, and it took months to bring it back. This was probably 8 to 10 years ago. And I'm like, I learned my lesson. It took about 6 months to get it back, and I was still getting people coming in for probably up to 2 years going, we thought you retired, you were done. All because...
Stopped going because you weren't doing it no more.
Right. I'm like, damn it, I'm not going to make a joke like that anymore. I lost money, too. I wasn't making tips or anything. What about you? What about you, Bill? You call yourself the king. How are you the king of April Fools?
So this year, I didn't do anything, but my friend Holly posted on Facebook, which Keith, you're the only one who could have seen it, I don't know if you did, said, Holly and I are in a relationship. All right. So Holly's boyfriend is a guy who's like, I don't know, he's like 6 years younger than me. And he's one of those guys. He's ex-Marine. And he is 6'2" and 225 pounds. And he's the guy that you can hit him with a baseball bat and he'll go, ha, 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 bye. And she posted that on Facebook. My daughter got at me. It's like, Dad, what the hell is going on? You're in a relationship? You didn't tell me about. I said, it's all, and as I was saying a joke, all kinds of posts came up, boom, 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 hit, and I was like, what the hell is going on? And I was like, so I went back into it, and I was like, going with it. I said, yes, she and I are in a relationship, and Psycho is okay with it. And of course, that tells you how his name is, because he's called Psycho.
Right.
And went into it and everything. So just, was it yesterday? Yesterday, they posted where he actually, and she was pushing it, I think, but he actually asked her to marry him.
Aw.
So it came out good, but it was all funny and stuff like that. All my friends were like, wait, you're in a relationship with Holly? I was like, I ain't going to say nothing. So,
Have you ever been or known anybody that was kind of double-crossed in their April Fool's jokes? Because I knew somebody similar to that reminded me of it. Where they did the whole fake relationship thing, but they actually were in on the joke and told the other person and that they got in a fight and then she was badly hurt and all this because of this April Fool's joke, but that was the April Fool's joke.
not me.
Oh, you gotta get double crossing is the best for April Fools because the person who's originally throwing that joke is so set that they're the king right now. And another
And if
good
you
thing,
put that on them, yeah.
yeah. And then when you reverse it on them like that, it's perfect. What about you, Elena? You ever done
You're about to
anything?
be touched.
Not really. I'm like lame today. I don't know.
Whoa.
This year, Brandon was out of town. I told him that I put his favorite hoodie in the dryer and it shrunk, but that was a lie. It was like super lame. He was really mad at me actually.
That's good then. You did good. I was like, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. If they get really mad at you, you did something right.
I mean, it was super lame, but yeah, I guess it worked.
up, Greg.
You got to be able to have fun and play jokes on people. Most people get sports with it, and that is gonna circle back to what I originally wanted to talk about too at the start of the show, without going into the conspiracy aspect or anybody else, or even the specifics that happened. Are we at a state now? Do you think that comedy can't be comedy anymore? And I know everybody has different opinions on what can be funny and not.
No, that's the problem with today. Everyone gets hurt, and their feelings get hurt.
Yep.
I think there's a way to make jokes without offending people, though.
True. Yes.
But do you not see comedy in some offensive things that are not actually hurting people? Does anybody remember the adage of sticks and stones? I mean, sometimes comedy is comedy because it pokes fun at reality. And if that is your reality and you're poking fun, yes, you could be offended.
Yeah,
but many people, even at the Oscars, many people did laugh, some were offended, but that's the price of comedy. Does it make it wrong?
Wrong, no. But when it's at the expense of someone else and you're, like, singling out someone, then maybe, like, I don't know, there's a tactful way and then there's an offensive way. I don't know. Maybe that's just me coming from a female perspective, but
I mean, some of the greatest comedians we ever had did not use the tactful direction. Whether you're going as far back and as vulgar as somebody like Andrew Dice, who I was never a fan of, but Rodney Dangerfield, yeah. I mean, Rodney Dangerfield, Eddie Murphy, George Carlin. You know, they lived off the offensive and they made a career out of it. And even closer to now, if you go to like the blue collar comedy group, I mean, he's got a whole skit of "Here's your sign because you're stupid" or "You're a redneck."
Yeah. I personally, if you know going in that this comedian could potentially heckle you in the audience and you might be offended by something, maybe you shouldn't be there. Like if you're that sensitive, maybe just don't go to that type of setting.
Well, that is where I do give some of the blame to, and that particular one to her, because Chris Rock roasted her before in a previous Oscar show. So she knew, and she just came out about that. The odds were there that a joke was going to happen about it. You know, they were front and center, and that's who gets heckled at those shows.
But she's shaved her head before, right? She's been bald.
That was what shocked me about this. I got to be honest. Is like all the images I have of seeing Jada Pinkett has been bald. Or very short, very short.
So now that she has that medical problem, now it's off limits.
Here's the thing. So, yes, did I just hear this? I did not see it for my own eyes. I will say this up front. However, apparently the amount of searches for alopecia after that incident was so high, and they were all branded with Big Pharma, they all just, Pfizer. Pfizer was, all over the ad. So was that a tactic for Big Pharma? I don't know. I'm not a very trusting person of people
I
outside
that.
My circle.
I
question everything. Call me crazy. I don't know.
I have some sympathy with that. I do understand that, actually, of not being trusting for a lot of people or a lot of things that are going on. But unfortunately, with me, it also goes for not trusting the people who don't trust as well. I'm not talking about you, but I'm talking about the ones who build these conspiracies or stuff like that, or whether it was to look it up. And obviously, if somebody comes across the term that they don't know, of course searches are going to go up. I mean, Justin Bieber was the top search for a long time and stuff. It wasn't some conspiracy to make him a star. How it happened, I don't know. But
because
Justin Bieber.
Keith, the biggest insult comic you forgot about, and he was so hilarious even in his older days, was Don Rickles.
Don Rickles was one as well. I was going through the list. There's a lot.
And I tell you right now, the guy that you follow now that does the same thing, and he does it to his audience too, is Jimmy Carr.
Mm-hmm. I mean, even it was everybody. Look at the roast before Comedy Central did their roast. Dean Martin did them. Yeah. Dean fucking Martin.
It was the Friars roast. Yeah, it was the Friars roast way back. Yeah.
The best comedy has always been, in a sense, at somebody's expense, and it's going to be because that's what makes it funny, because it's not the truth,
right?
Or it is the truth, and it's a funny aspect of it.
Right.
Well,
So-
I think that's why the roasts are different, because everyone that's getting roasted on a roast signed up to get roasted.
They know they're gonna get roasted. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
but
when
you
you're
also
singled out in a crowd, you're like, oh, spotlight's on me. However, you could like pack out your chest and say, well, I stood out in the crowd and, you know, I inspired the comedian.
The roast
However,
always gave the person that was being roasted the back end at the end of it to go back at the people that
right,
were
hit
roasting
them back,
them,
yeah,
too.
for the
Yeah.
big roast.
Yeah.
yeah.
Which was good.
And like
but
for
I mean,
me, it's like really, really, really hard to offend me. I don't get offended easily.
right.
However, I do stick up for people that get offended easily. Like if I'm at a
Yeah.
comedy show and like I think everything's funny, but my friend's pissed off, I'm like, all right, we can leave. You know what I mean? Like you're not having fun right now. We don't have to be here anymore.
And I
That's
think
totally
that's
fine.
respectful for you and your friends.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would be that way if my friend was getting offended. It's like, all right, let's
Yeah.
even though I'm having a good time, I see you're not.
Everyone's different in everything you do and everything like that. I mean, the bar that I met Keith at, they had Jim Freeman up there. All right, you guys know Jim Freeman at all?
Yeah. I know Jim Freeman.
Okay, younger people don't. So Jim Freeman is an insult comedian, plays his guitar, makes jokes and stuff like that. And my friends were all a bunch of gay women. All right, and I've known Jim for years. And when Jim showed up, he walked in the bar. And he's like, "Bill, help me bring my shit in." I brought all his stuff in. He was like, "Who's all those women?" I said, "My friends." And he was like, "Are they gay?" I said, "Yeah." Jim hit them all night, and I told them that was coming, and they took it, you know, as they would, you know, and they all laughed their ass off. The only thing happened was there was a African American guy in the kitchen, and he made comments about that guy. That guy had a problem with it, and I tried to tell him, I said, "This is type of joke," but it's Jim's. Shit, I'm 58. Jim's got to be 76.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he just finally retired now, but he did that forever and a day, and that was his thing. So,
Well,
everyone
it's
takes
kind
everything
of
different.
how you can take humor is kind of flip flopped in a way because you used to go to a comedy show and you might be picked on in the back, and then you get a heckler in there, and then you would tear that heckler apart, and the audience loved it. And it was funny, and he would become the butt of the joke. But now it's like you say it, and everybody's the heckler, like, oh, that's just not funny. You're making fun of saying the exact same thing. And I feel for that, because comedians have such a very hard job to begin with.
Yeah.
They do. They have to push boundaries to make you laugh. If you go in there and just tell elementary school humor, you're not going to make it.
No.
You've got to find something to get out there. And
Sex
you have hosts.
sells. Raunchy sells. Sex sells. Like, that's just.
I mean, it's
Nikki
literally.
Glazer.
What was that?
What do you say?
Nikki Glazer.
Nikki Glazer is another one.
Yeah.
But and
She's a
females
top-
can do it too, and females can get away with it a
She's
little
a
better.
top
I think,
wanted on the
too.
roast and everything like that, and her web show is great. So,
I fear that because if anybody ever seen the Time Machine, like the original Time Machine movie, or the new one, I
Cameron?
fear.
Yeah.
I fear that our culture is eventually going to become like the Eloy in that movie. They were such a straight-laced society. Nothing was funny. Nothing was humorous. Everybody everybody looked the same. Nobody was different. Nobody.
Oh, that'd be so boring.
It was, and that's what it pointed out. I mean, if you ever see the movie, they were called the Eloy, and it takes place long, long in the future after World War III and all that. But that's exactly what they were. And that's what we're gearing towards, because you can't be unique. You can't be funny. You can't be this. You can't do anything at someone else's expense. You have to, but you just shouldn't focus on one person, I think is the biggest thing to do. If you're going to be offensive to everybody equally, or pick different people and let one go and move to another one. You know, do what you got to do. So, hey, this is my brand, not, hey, I don't like you and I'm targeting you.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
and you're
Nikki?
talking about me again.
I don't
I'm
know.
offensive to
I
everybody,
just
so.
like, why is everybody like? Everybody's just so damn sensitive. Like, what if the person was having fun with it and like heckling back with them, but he can't like say more than one thing. He's got to like move on. It's just people are just so sensitive. Like, let's just laugh. Let's just have fun. Just laugh.
Walk
have fun,
out
move on.
And know everything you saw or heard was for fun. And you
Yeah,
laughed and you had a
laughed your
good
ass
time.
off. You might have pissed your pants. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, have fun.
I mean, just like in comedy movies, it can't be made the same. The comedians can't be the same. Even
Yeah,
music,
like
as
Eddie
we talked
Murphy
about
days.
before.
comedy is not like that like Eddie Murphy 80s, 90s comedy.
Yeah, but that was funny shit.
I
When you
know,
hear
but I'm
Ralph
saying-
Cramden and Ed Norton being, as he put it, faggots on there, but homosexuals, it's funny. Like the way he did it, the vocal impressions, because you're picturing. And the reason it's funny, and the reason stuff like that was funny, was because you knew that Ralph Cramden and Ed Norton of the Honeymooners were not gay. They did not do that. They never did. This is not some secret coming out party Eddie Murphy's doing. He was having fun. Can you imagine this scenario?
And it was a point in time that he did it.
Yeah. And some of the language he used, I agree, should be stricken from comedy because that was a different time, but not the core of the routine. The core of the bit should have been able to stay.
Yeah.
Because it was funny, and that's what I think is missing, because they're afraid. I can't make a joke about somebody, the most recent, can't make a joke about somebody's wife because I'm now being offensive to a group of people who deal with hair loss. Wait, I can't stand up for my wife because now my career is at stake because of what somebody said. And it just, it's not, this was something with me and Chris Rock. This is now, comedians can't do it really.
So let
And
me
you can't
ask
even
you
say
guys.
white trash Christmas on here because you get knocked off. So
Right.
figured
That
I'd give it a
happened.
shot, see if they do it again.
So let me ask you guys this. So when it comes to like canceling, what do you guys think about like the fact that they canceled Dukes of Hazzard completely, altogether, removed it from broadcasting?
They did? I didn't actually know this.
Yes, they did.
Yes, you cannot find. Good luck finding Dukes of Hazzard.
Because of the Confederate flag on the roof of General Lee.
And I think
It was
that's
offensive,
overblown.
So they took it off.
Why is it offensive? It's been around for years. I agree. If
Part
they
of our
made it
history,
now
I
and they
don't know.
made it, if they made it today, I get where people would be coming from. But they didn't.
It was
They
the
made a
era.
remake,
It was
what,
the time.
10 years ago? 12 years
Was
ago?
it? Yeah, with
No
Johnny
one- no one-
Knoxville
yeah,
and
no one had to complain about it. It
Right.
was fine. And
You're old. It was like 20 years ago. But
was it
Really?
20? Oh my god!
early 2000s.
I'm
Elena.
only as old as I feel. I'm only as old as I feel.
I'm going to ask Elena because Elena is the youngest member here on the panel. And you obviously you've grown up into cancel culture. How do you feel about it? Do you think it's right to remove it?
I mean, I think people that fly the Confederate flag are bimbos, but
Agreed.
At least
how I
up here
feel
in the
about
north.
that. I mean,
not
I
saying-
feel like it
Look,
anywhere because a lot of time, like I've had this conversation with like a couple of people that have been like, "Oh, the Confederate flag," meh." And I'm not saying everybody, but I'm saying the people I've spoke to. There was like, "Oh, it's patriotic." I'm like, the whole point of it was to not be part of us anymore. That's like the opposite
Right.
of patriotic.
Yeah, you're waving the flag of the wrong team, of the losing team, basically.
Right.
And I agree. The thing is when you build the stigma around something such as the Confederate flag, that it is now racist, and now it is viewed as a racist thing in a time long gone that we don't want to bring back up. Once you've built that stigma, you need to respect that stigma. So if you are flying it now, even though I kind of agree in freedom of expression, but
I do too,
you
but
are
if you wanna
flying
fly
with
your
that
Confederate-
thought. You know what that stigma is. You know what it says. You're doing it to piss people off.
Right.
Yeah.
So if someone's flying a Confederate flag, I should be able to walk up to them and be like, "Hey, I think you're racist."
I had a conversation with a friend. He lives up here in Michigan, but he's from the South. His grandfather's father or whatever fought in the war. That's why they had the flag. Like it was a memorial to him. You know, I get that.
Yeah.
But half these kids, they run around with, like, they don't even understand the history. They couldn't tell you what the war was about.
Right. They don't know.
And it's annoying. They see it as a redneck flag. And that's why they fly it.
Right. And what's
And-
irritating too is that a lot of people, like a lot of public schools, mainly in the South, teach the Civil War completely differently than they teach it in the North.
Right.
Like I found this out
let
like
me
when I met Brandon, because he's from the South and like he grew up in the South and like learned all of that stuff. He would like they were taught that the Civil War was over states' rights and had nothing to do with slavery at all.
well,
Public schools teach according to what the public in that region needs
It's-
these children to know.
It's
I
state
wish, I really
guidelines.
wish I paid attention in school because I'm from California, so I would have had a different teaching
You would have had
from
a
out
much different.
But you learned how to
Yeah.
surf, I'm sure.
Yeah.
there. Nope. I was a desert rat. I didn't live
That's
near
what.
those.
That's the thing about these schools teaching it differently. Because I learned
Scorpions.
in the North, I do think the North had a better education when it came to that. I do believe the North side did because the North responded to the South as well. They, when I learned about the Civil War, I learned what the Civil War was fighting for as well. And some of the aspects were not bad aspects. It was mainly about slavery, and that aspect did have to go. But they were also fighting for state rights. They were also fighting for other things
States'
as well.
rights to uphold slavery.
But there were other things involved with that too, and the slavery report. That's why there was both. There
No,
was
I
other
know.
rights they were fighting for, but we were taught about the slavery. We were taught that Washington and the generals throughout the Civil War that they were slave owners, and some were for it. We were taught that they were wrong, but they also were proof of how far we've come. And when you
Yes.
eliminate it, and that's the thing is when you learn this stuff now, and you've eliminated it through teaching, you think that the slavery stuff is brand new and been hidden,
Yeah.
and that we've never had to deal with it. Like I said, a lot of the young generation thinks the world didn't exist before them.
True.
And it's partly because they were not taught the right things, especially like in the South, as you were saying for Brandon. But there comes a point that you have to just let people do what they want to do, but understand if things do change, you don't change them in the future. Dukes of Hazzard should not have been canceled, in my personal opinion, because at the time of the show, the Confederate flag was a symbol of the South more than anything. It wasn't thought of that way. In today's world, it is thought of that way, so you have to respect that change. Because you respecting in the 70s where it was just about being in the South, and the South was a great place to be, and yes, there was definitely some racial aspects in there. You know, that was also changed from what it originally stood for. So you were respecting the change that day,
Yeah.
so you got to respect the change today as well.
There are some really bad places still in the South, still
Absolutely.
to this day, that, man, yeah, it's sad that they exist.
They do.
It is.
So Scott, you mentioned the Dukes of Hazzard, or you mentioned the Dukes of Hazzard, Nikki, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. You know, what do you think, Scott, about it?
What about them canceling? it?
About the cancel? Do you think it's actually a good idea?
It's bullshit. No, it's bullshit.
Because
It's
we
an-
talk about. No, go ahead.
It's part of our past. It's there. You don't like it, remove it from anything coming out in the future. You don't have to take away from our past. Dukes of
If we don't
Hazzard
have-
was
if we
a
don't
big
learn about-
thing in our. I remember going over to my grandpa's house. That was his favorite show, Daisy Duke. You know, it beats. I can't remember the name, but Zanza or Bonanza.
Bonanza.
Yeah, I hated that show, but there was one or the other. But I mean, it was a comedy, and it wasn't ever. I don't remember it
kinda
being
like a mystery.
offensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
It
it
had a
wasn't
flag
offensive.
on the roof of the car.
It was meant to
Right.
reflect those times. You were going to say, Elena, if you don't remember.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, it's important to see where we came from so we can learn from it, because everybody fucking knows history repeats itself, and if we don't learn from it, it's just gonna fucking happen again.
And that is what I fear, in a way, is happening right now.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these
That's the
people,
sad truth.
they don't have it to look back on to say this is what happened before. I mean, even go as far as the 1900s and the World Wars.
Yeah.
You know, they're not even teaching a lot of that stuff. Kids today, as far as what they're learning, are, I guess, ignorance is the proper word.
But I think, though, as the adults in society, we also have to take on some of that responsibility.
Oh, we're totally
of-
to blame.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
so many parents who are disconnected and they don't even know what their kids are studying. You know what I mean? Like, and I try to be hands-on with my kids, but I got like my 17-year-old who's doing calculus, and I'm like, "You good?" "Yep, I'm good." "Okay." A+ you got good. But
In a
I mean,
sense, youth of today is way smarter than we ever were, ever will be. I mean, even Elena, and you're only, 10 years above them. And the youth of today is way smarter than you were and going to be. However, they are
I
way
agree.
more ignorant, too.
yes.
because they've
And I think that's
eliminated
even
stuff.
it's going to get
Yeah.
even worse because so many people want to get rid of critical race theory in schools.
Yes.
Now
It
here's
could-
the question.
Yeah.
We're talking about, like, okay, the movie getting replaced. They are getting taken off. The Cosby Show was removed also. Now that he's clear, it still ain't back.
I remember that being taken off.
Yeah, they still haven't returned it. So once it's gone, it's gone. So
No.
even
They-
And I mean, what kind of
even if
damage
we
does that do?
change
That
the
was
way-
that was one of the first shows to say black people can be rich and successful.
Well, it was to show that they
No,
are real people too. Like they are.
That's what I
family.
mean.
They are. You know, they're
Before
just a
that, your
different
black
culture.
shows were like Good Times and whatever. I can't even remember all the ones.
Fat Albert. You guys, do you remember?
Oh,
that
Fat
show?
Albert was a Cosby one like that.
Hey, hey, hey.
There was the Jefferson, Sanford and Son, you know, and they all took place in like the ghetto rural areas.
Yeah.
Or like sorry, not rural, big city ghetto areas.
Suburban.
And that was what they were portrayed as. So when the Cosby Show came out, it was the show that said black people can be rich. Black people can have success. They are humans. They are people just like us. Now you took it off the air because the star, not the character, got in trouble.
I think more than one star, though. I think there was some issues with some cast members.
Well, I'm sure there were, but the message of the show,
Webster, yeah.
yeah. If you had a black child, it was from there, different strokes. You know,
Elf. Who remembers Elf? Oh my
Alf
God.
was awesome.
Oh my God, I love
Except for
Elf.
he ate cats. I hated that when I was a kid.
I think
hated
they're bringing Elf
Yeah.
back. They were talking
Really?
about doing that.
Yeah, they were talking about bringing Alf back.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That would be cool. But I'm going back really quick, so we're running out of time here, and to what we were saying about them being ignorant, and they're also very smart. Could you imagine, for anybody trying to teach kids in the future, if you gave your kids the legacy of our country in truth and the intelligence they have now, what they could actually do with it?
Oh, the possibilities could be endless.
Teach them history.
If the possibilities were utilized, if their abilities were put to full use.
Mm-hmm.
That is why my son is going to college where he's going. That is why I would go to the ends of the earth to make sure that, you know, education and you really do what you can do anything.
Well, hey, their stupidity is our fault.
Yeah.
The mistakes that they're making is our fault because we're choosing to teach what we want instead of what they need.
Yes.
You know,
Yes,
we didn't get
yes.
the luxury growing up to learn what we wanted.
No.
We learned whether we liked it or not, and we found where we wanted to be, and we also thought about what we wanted to change. Some of them made some pretty bad fucking decisions about that, what we wanted to change, but we learned what we wanted. If you gave them the proper tools, they would be the generation to change the world for the better.
I agree.
But you can't give them the education without the background, and you
I
can't
agree.
give them the background without the education.
I agree.
You've
Yes.
got to give them both. You got to make sure that they know what they're changing, what they're doing, and what didn't work,
Right.
and what
Yes.
did work.
Yes. Because that's how we learn, is by making mistakes, as ironic as it is.
And they're the perfect generation to do it because this generation, believe it or not, though they think the past doesn't exist in a lot of aspects, they love the past. They are hooked on the music of the past.
Yes. Oh,
They
my
are-
kids have some good taste in music. I'm like, yeah.
Because
Yes.
their music sucks.
Yeah.
And I disagree with that.
Totally
I
what it
actually
is.
It's my influence and their dad's influence.
It's
no, I disagree with that
horrible
because
music nowadays.
I'm
like-
sorry, kids in the 80s, their music sucked too, and it was horrible. Kids in the 90s, their music sucked, and it was horrible. 2000 sucked, and it was horrible. 2010 sucked horrible. 2020 starting now, and it sucked. God, that's a lot of
2000
decades.
was awesome.
Sucks, but it's horrible. You know, and that's what we keep saying, but they became classics. Backstreet Boys. Okay, think about it. Most people like Ozzy Osbourne.
Backstreet Boys is
Most
a
people
classic.
like Paranoid and Bon Jovi. Poison, all those are classic, great songs that we all love and remember. They were condemned for being awful music, not really music and everything when they came out. And the same thing, if you listen for music for what it is, some of those songs are good, they're catchy, you got to understand what they are. Not all of them, but to each their own to what they like. You can't dismiss all the music. Some of the music we had back then was pretty shitty
We
too.
had a handful of artists that actually came out with nothing but great music. Everyone else, you had 5, 6 songs that
Yeah,
just
one
are
hit
good.
wonders.
One hit wonders. I mean,
Yeah, same with the 80s, 90s and stuff. There were a lot of artists that produced music. We just happen to remember the ones that had those hits.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we
Well,
don't
because
know.
it was jammed into our head. It was like, played over and over and over and over and over and
Now,
over.
mind you, we had the luxury of
kind of
radio.
like
Yeah.
the radio DJ had control on what we listened to.
I still
They
have
did.
a radio. I still use my radio. Does nobody else use
I
the
have
radio?
a 96 GMC with
Well, there was a
rotary.
luxury of the
Yes, I use
radio.
my radio every morning to listen
Yes,
to Dave and Chuck the Freak.
I love my radio.
But we didn't have really anything else. Eventually, when we had cassette tapes, we had CDs that came out eventually. We could record
Yeah.
stuff or buy it. But
Yeah.
the thing now is you find something you like, you go to stations, just listen to the music you like. You don't
Yep.
get exposed to as much new stuff
Right.
as is coming out. Because I found myself, I would get in my car and I would turn the 80s and 90s station on. It was one of those. It was either 80s or 90s, depending on what was in the mood. Because I loved it and I knew it. And I missed so much damn music. For a DJ, that's not very smart.
No.
You know? Because
I mean-
that's what I was playing. It was cool in like the 2000s. Like, yeah, this is 10 years old. This is cool. But now it's like 30-year-old songs.
Yeah, but you got to play for the crowd. So, I mean,
It's
But
funny
there's
'cause you
so
wanna
much
listen
good
to
stuff,
rock,
like-
you have like 3 different radio stations to listen to 3 different types of rocks.
I sing
Like,
Dua
they don't-
Lipa with my friend because I think they're great. And
But
I started
country,
listening to
you can
that.
put on the country station and they randomly they play old, they play new. They
Mhm.
you know, if there's a new song on the country station, they play the new songs right after they played that song from 1999.
Because radio is very familiar with that, but a lot of people don't. They're hooked on the Spotify. They're hooked on, Pandora, YouTube Music, whatever they have
Yeah.
to be using. That just plays a playlist according to only what you like, and doesn't
Right.
expose you to the new stuff as well.
See, that's what I like about YouTube. My mix is very nice.
Yeah, but again, you
I-
said it's your mix.
Right. Well,
There's not exposure
it's
to
my
others besides the
it's-
mix you created.
it's
I mean,
what
I'm
listen
super
to. It
guilty of that.
adapts. It adapts.
Like-
so
I
Yeah.
hate I hate new music. I only like songs that I can sing along to. I don't want to learn new songs. I just want I want the songs that I already know, and
horrible.
that's it. Like
I
that's
mean,
See, my
There's a
problem
lot of
is
them in a
I
lot of
can't
different
memorize.
genres.
I can't
Yeah.
memorize the lyrics unless I hear him singing. I can sing along, but you cut his voice out. I'm out. I'm out. I don't know
Yeah.
the song.
see, I know the words to so many songs, but I cannot tell you the name of the song or who sings it. But
I'm guilty of that too.
the second that first note of that song comes on, immediately I know all the words and I can sing along.
Nikki, that's
But
exactly
I
how
know-
my husband is, and we play this really fun game. There's this bar like right across the street from my house, and we go there, and they have a jukebox that I can like control my phone, and we play this game where I'll play a bunch of songs that he definitely knows the songs, and he doesn't know what the name of it is and who they're by, and if he can guess who's singing it, like for every song, it's a wager of 15 minutes of head.
I love it.
And we
Nice.
sit there, we play this game for like hours, and it's like so fucking fun. Like, I'll play a song that we listened to on the way there that he sang the whole song to, and I'll put it on the second we get there. He's like, I don't know who the fuck this is by.
Does he
There was one
realize
day-
he's being had because he doesn't know the names and the
I mean, it works out for me.
hey girl, do it.
But there was one day, as soon as we got there, I put on a song by Olivia Rodrigo. And my husband has 2 different sisters named Michaela and Olivia. He's like, I don't know who this is by. I was like, your sister's named after her. Like, one of your sisters and her have the same name. And he goes, it's Michaela for sure. I'm like, you're dumb.
I'm so bad.
I gave you a 50-50 shot, bro.
I can
You
sometimes,
failed.
especially with oldies, because I was raised listening to my parents' music, and they
Same,
were from
yeah.
the 70s. So, like, every now and then, I can pull a rabbit out of my ass, and I can be like, ba 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 la la.
That's where I appreciated my uncle, my dad's brother-in-law. I mean, I'd go over to his house. He had a computer went back in the early 90s, and it was just loaded with classics. But his classics were Led Zeppelin, Beatles. You know, he
Yes,
had
yes.
the rock.
Yeah, that's what I
classics.
grew up on.
Yeah.
And it
Yes,
was,
me too.
you know, he would sit me down. He's like, all right, this song, you know, like One is the Loneliest Number.
Yes.
He like straight up told me before Google that was about a joint. I looked it up years later. It's about a joint. This man knew his music.
That was one thing
that's
about our music.
exactly how That's exactly how my dad is, Scott. Like, all of my memories growing up is sitting in the basement where there's like a fireplace in my parents' basement. So it's like sitting in the basement with my dad. All the lights are off. He's like drunk. And we're just sitting on the couch in front of the fireplace, and he'd put on songs, and he would just like quiz us on the meanings of all these songs. Like, I know the meaning to like every Beatles song ever written in the entire fucking world.
That was his go-to was Beatles. That was his.
One of my favorites is that Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds is not about LSD. And everyone thinks it's about LSD, and it's fucking not.
What is it really about?
Oh, I think it was Paul was moving, and his son wasn't gonna like go to the same school, and he had his son had a best friend named Lucy. And before they moved,
okay,
yeah, before they moved, the little girl gave like his son a drawing, and it was a picture of her in the sky with diamonds around her.
Aww.
Like, that's what the fucking song's about. And everyone's like, it's about LSD. It's not.
So well, there were a lot of songs influenced by that.
My uncle passed away right around 2020, and Lucy. I don't know if you guys can see her laying there, but there you go.
Aww.
There you go.
Aww.
So that's what I named her after was the Lucy in the Sky.
We
with
had
Diamonds.
We had a Lucy Basset Hound when I was a little girl. She drowned in my grandma's swimming pool, though.
Aww.
I know.
Well, that's a sad end of the show.
A sad ending.
I know.
I had to
Do we need a happy
drown.
ending? Franklin, come here.
I'll bring our dogs
Franklin.
out.
Come here.
Aww.
This is Franklin.
You got a blue.
I
Look
do.
at you.
Aww.
He's happy boy.
I need another doggy.
I
Is it that time, Keith?
It is about that time. You know, I got to work on Sunday night, so I can't actually go as long as I have to. So, but I do want to thank everybody for being here. And you're right, a lot of the things we said were true. You know, you've got to respect people out there. You've got to be able to take jokes and take humor and not be offended by so many things. Because that's what's going to lead to hating everybody. And again, I talk about it all the time. I say it all the time. The hate-filled world is due to all of this.
Yeah.
Whether it be, and no offense to anybody, whether it be from conspiracy theories from Nikki, whether it be from when we've talked to Elena that we feel she's too strongly, whether it be for the king being his old school self and some of the things he used to do, whatever. If you don't accept things for being who they are and you get offended, you're creating hate instead of education, instead of learning, instead of being a better person, which is what we all ultimately strive to be. We just don't seem to know how to get there. The youth of today do have a chance. And we talked about the music and that they love the music of the past. You know, they love all that back music. Well, guess what? If you love the music of the past, thank sexism, thank drug abuse, thank everything that you hate right now was a part of creating a lot of that music. It's not that it was right, but you're seeing finally the good things that came out of something very bad.
Right, because they
instead of looking at
interpret
only
it
the bad.
differently.
Right, instead of only the bad aspects. Do it now. Find the good, fight the bad. Don't fight everybody, don't fight everything. Fight what you know and what you believe, and you'll get somewhere. We're going to have some topics coming up. Of course, this is our open forum where we talk about anything, and indeed we did talk about anything right now, which was good. And always there's a little cancel culture in there somewhere because that seems to be a weekly thing that happens. So we always got to bring something up about it. Our next topic's coming up. It should be the Life Aborted show that got delayed because of some issues. One was a power issue and the other one was panelists because it got moved and they couldn't make that date. So it's still coming up, but it's either going to be that or it's going to be the broken one. And as well, the future show, we've got a conspiracy show coming up for you. We're going to talk about all these conspiracy theories, plus a lot more, whether we believe them or we don't. And I will allow on the conspiracy, yes, you can go political. You just still can't go total trash political. So other than that, you can definitely go that because that's what conspiracies
offer.
offer.
Happy about that one.
Yeah, because a lot of conspiracies do center around that. You just can't
that evil
go
rub going
trash political. You cannot just say because this guy did all this and he's only that. But other than that, yeah, you absolutely can.
I'll back it up.
But we will let that one go on that show. Don't forget, you can always engage in our show. This was the least engagement we ever had. We went from the most engagement ever to the least on the next show because we actually didn't have anybody.
I think it was those 3 shows.
The Grammys are on tonight, too.
Yeah. So is WrestleMania.
And WrestleMania.
For crying out loud, it's been on my TV for 3 days.
I just saw a post on it before I hopped on.
Tonight.
I haven't watched one of those.
You can see new shows typically every Sunday and Wednesday. We try to do as many as we can. Sometimes, yes, life gets in the way. We can't do all the shows we want to do, but we'll usually be back with those. You can always call into the show. But if you ever just going through something and you just need somebody to talk to, you can reach out and talk to us anytime. Go to our Facebook page, message us on there. One of us will respond to you. Sometimes nobody's available, but they will be. When we see it, we will respond. Or go to our website, same deal. You can anonymously message us there, or you can just message on the page, and random people will be glad to help you out and talk to you, including ourselves. So we're good for that too. You're never alone. Reach out. Be there. We want to talk to you. It doesn't matter. If you just need somebody because you're alone, we don't have to talk about anything specific.
We do it all the time. I did it while I was on my honeymoon.
Okay. Yeah, so when she felt alone on her honeymoon,
fun.
she just randomly...
That's where I was going.
I know, I'm kidding.
That's what I was saying.
Someone who needed her.
Again, don't forget to like, share, follow, and subscribe to Ear Shoulder Voice on YouTube, Meta, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. We're on all that. We're on LinkedIn too. I don't know how that works though. We don't actually broadcast on LinkedIn. I'm waiting still for like 3 years for them to approve it. They haven't yet. They must not like the content. They think we're fucking offensive or something like that. Well, fuck them. We're not offensive. Fuck you, LinkedIn. Love you,
Fuck
LinkedIn. Approve us. But other than that, you all have a great night. Thank you, Nikki, for being here. Glad to have you back. Of course, as always, I do love your fire girl.
I'm sassy.
You get passionate, you get sassy, and you get in that mood, and you know what? I like it, because that's the kind of clash we need, because you're not the only one out there that does that. And sometimes people need to see people that feel as passionate about something as you do. So thank you for that.
Always.
Elena, awfully quiet and not very outspoken today. It was a little different for you this time, but still love having you.
We talked about a lot of stuff that I don't know too much about, so...
Sorry.
That's
I was
fair.
happy to be here.
That's fair. We lost Bill, so thank you, Bill, for being here.
He's
Bill
like,
just
I'm
left.
out.
Scott, welcome to your first show. Glad you are
Thank
on
you.
here. Hope you enjoyed talking. This was our
Appreciate
open
you
forum,
guys
so it's about
bringing me
anything.
in.
Sorry,
We do
hope
have
I
the deeper
didn't scare
topics.
you away.
Please.
Nikki, normally I'm the one scaring people.
He'll
so
learn.
you're
See,
good.
Scott doesn't know
It's you or
anybody.
me, girl.
Adjust.
It's like we take turns.
Scott doesn't know anybody yet. When Scott knows somebody, it'll be different. But he doesn't quite know anybody yet. So he doesn't want to argue and offend anybody yet, but he'll learn. That's what we want you to do.
We want a debate.
You can piss me off, but you
Friendly
can't offend me.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. So thank you all for being here. Return every Sunday and Wednesday, hopefully one of those days when we're not missing a show, but we'll always catch up when we are, and we'll see you then. You have a great night. Bye.
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 When you're alone and feeling down, and you're 10 feet underground, when you're so deep you're about to drown, when you're in the lost and found, 'cause heartaches only last a day. Ooh, but your heart will never fade away. Go out and find your way. Don't let them take your soul away. Not a week, not a single day. Hold true to what you wanna be. Never let go. And here's the key: be you, yeah, only you, only you. Be you, yeah, only you, only you.
I've got to say, that's like my favorite theme that we've used on here.
Yes, I was
When
like
I found that,
dancing.
I
Did you
love
see me
that
dancing?
one. I love the word. I kind of edited it up a bit, but I love that one.
Love it.
Oh my gosh, is Lucy a healer too?
That's why I said you have a blue. I have a red.
Yeah.
She replaced my blue.
Aww.
Aw. That's cute. So what'd you think, Scott?
I liked it.
So you,
I don't
I
mind
thought
sitting
you
here
had been.
talking.
I thought he had been on here before, like you were a pro.
I've commented before.
Yeah, he's seen them.
You guys had a discussion about a month ago, and I opened up on there.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
no one
when
else
was
was talking, and I was like, all right, I'll tell you.
You know, you can do that on this show too. When I say anybody else got something, just because you're on the panel and can't type it doesn't mean you can't say it.
I'm working on it. Okay.
Could
Give me
type
some
it in the
times. I've never
private
done
chat.
this was the first time I've done something like this.
Yeah, I know.
Usually
It gets
I'm
scarier
talking to
as it goes
people on my headphone and I can't see them.
Do you see it scarier as it goes on?
And it's like, hey,
It
they're
gets
around the
less
corner. Go
scary.
shoot them.
Oh. Gets scarier every day.
Most people get hooked on it that have been on here. They like it. They are. But no, you were good. I thought you were professional. I'm glad everything worked for you. Like, I was afraid because
I mean, I got it's like brand new internet. Like I said, the laptop's kind of been sitting. I've been going to the bar instead of playing video games, but
Yeah. Well, a lot of times there's like a few technical issues on here, and you don't know Nikki because you came on afterwards too. But he wasn't here yet either. It was his first show, so I was worried. Like when I brought him on, then he spoke. I'm like, oh my god, we can hear you. Everything.
yeah.
Oh, by the
made
way,
sure- I double checked my mute button before I got on. I went through and updated my computer and everything.
Elena, say something.
What?
Okay, just making sure.
Wow.
Usually
I know,
we
I
can't
go
hear you in the
quiet a
after
lot.
show. Well, no, in the after show we haven't been able to hear you.
Like I said, today I'm on my phone because Brandon took my iPad
Oh.
with him. So maybe I just do this from now on. I don't know.
Well, the quality is equally as good. I mean,
Yeah, it's
if not better.
perfect.
Yeah.
I need
Perfect.
different
We'll just do this
lighting.
from now on.
What your towel? Go get your
I
towel.
need a new
get
nook.
You need
My
a new
lighting,
nook.
Yeah.
I actually have a perfect lighting scenario because I put my.
You do. Like I'm sitting here like trying to block the light. I dimmed it all the way down. Next
like
time,
my room light is on.
next time I'm
but,
going to rotate it this way. That way the glare's not in there.
Oh, that can work,
But my
yeah.
setup is just sitting on my vanity.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
so, like,
why.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got the
works out
perfect
well.
lighting.
I
Oh,
need
so I
one
need
of
to
those.
rotate so you can see the TV in the back. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I have a ring light if you want it, Nikki, because I bought new lights for
No, I
mine.
have one. I have one. It's just it's my bedroom lighting. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 canister lights, and they're freaking yellow, and you can't turn, just one on. They all come on because I'm in the basement.
Yeah.
Mine's fancy too because I can change if it's warm light or cool light.
Yeah.
Or neutral?
I can change
That's
mine.
cool.
I can change mine from
Alexa.
like multiple.
Tell
But-
Pet Cube to toss a treat.
I can't. I think
I
I can
don't
just
like
go
it.
colors. I don't know. But I gotta put things in them to make them colored. It's not good. See, I gotta put these in. It's a lot of work.
It's not just a button.
It's,
Yeah, my ring light was a button and the other one was a button, but this lighting's better because it's both sides. Plus, you can see me, and I want to keep my office lights off because my office is trashed. And
Oh, this
So-
whole thing's trash too. Like my desk, fucked. You're fine.
Dude, oh god.
right, and that seems.
My room is a mess. I'm still not fully unpacked from our trip to the UP, which was freaking amazing.
Oh, I got another light there. Huh?
Sounds it. I want to go to the UP.
We had
I
a
haven't been up there in a
blast.
while.